we've probably solved this problem forever, and now no one will ever have to worry about playing an evil character.
You'll go on RPG Horror Stories on Reddit, and there won't be a single post about a problem.
There's no post whatsoever.
No.
Because we just cleared up
it.
D&D problems once and for all.
Yeah. No more badly played evil characters.
Yeah. No more bad evil.
Yeah, only good evil. Like me.
Welcome to episode 12 of the Bobcast. So, I'm Bob.
And I'm Grace.
And
World Destroyer.
Right. And you might be wondering, Bob, episode 12? This is the first time you've ever done something like this. Well, you're kind of right, because this is the first time we're recording this on video for it to go up on the channel, but you can get an edited down, sweetly soundscaped, not really, version of this, audio only, available on my Patreon. But today, why don't you reveal this topic?
I wanted to talk about how to be an evil character without pissing everybody off.
Yeah. Because this is such a touchy subject, I feel like. There's a trope of like people not allowing evil aligned characters in their games because it can throw stuff off so badly.
Yeah, my first DM did. Greg.
But we've had a few evil characters in our games that have worked pretty well. I don't think we've had any catastrophes.
No, but part of that is because we know how to do it responsibly, sustainably.
Yes.
Politely.
Exactly.
Not murder hobo-y.
Yeah. I mean, well, I feel like a lot of murder hobos aren't even necessarily like an evil character. It's just more the play style. Like, it's more like that's a player thing.
I think a murder hobo is just as likely to be lawful good as they are to be chaotic evil.
Yeah. We have another podcast episode about handling player behavior, but this is not that episode. I guess it kind of is that episode. I don't think evil characters are something we talked about in that one.
An evil character, a well-played evil,
finely crafted,
well-played evil character is often going to be a cooperation between DM and player, because the DM has to know like what's going on, when might you turn on the party, though ideally like you never would unless you want it to be like a serious plot point. Squeeks, are you lawful or neutral evil?
Definitely chaotic. But yeah, I feel like your point there, and now there's cat fur on my face, of making sure it's something you're working out with the DM, which is what you should do with any character you're making. You kind of made a character like that, but it was more about not revealing it to the party right away.
Yeah, I always like to have a little secret, and sometimes my little secret is that my character is evil and slowly dragging the rest of the party down to his or her level.
Yeah. So should we talk about these evil characters that we've played successfully?
Yeah.
I guess.
So my first evil character was a lawful evil paladin named Aegis, tiefling, so that's a virtue name. Because that's the coolest part of being a tiefling is the virtue names, in my opinion.
What does Aegis mean as a virtue name?
It's a shield.
Oh.
So she fought with a shield. And like, she was a paladin and a fighter, so she had two fighting styles, and it was protection and defense. So, shield. She herself was a shield, and she had a shield. But anyway, her whole thing was that, like, and it's gonna get edgy, because when you're evil, sometimes you have to be edgy.
The evil alignment may as well be the edgy alignment.
Yeah. So, she was in charge of, like, watching over this young prince, and it was her whole life and her sole duty. She was a member of this elite guard. But one day during a military parade, while the prince was riding in her saddle with her, he was assassinated.
I thought this was when the Fire Nation attacked, but okay.
I guess. At least she believed that, it was the Fire Nation quote, though that was never confirmed. This is just what she decided in her mind. That's what happened. So now I have to go and conquer this entire nation as revenge.
Yeah.
But she didn't see it as revenge.
Exactly.
Which leads us to our first tenet of evil. Chances are your character doesn't even know they're evil.
Right. It's like that classic, I don't know what that meme is from, but that like, are we the baddies?
Yeah.
That was like a really good way to do it too, with it almost being like this political thing. Because I feel like a good way to make an evil character is to basically make a character who is radicalized for some cause.
Right.
Because that's the idea. Like this person who is so entrenched in this ideal that they think is for the betterment of themselves and other people. So yeah, I feel like having this radicalized character makes a good evil character. A good evil character. Anyway.
Yeah, so basically what I did was I took the virtue of justice and I took it about 3 steps too far.
Yeah.
And just created this person who would do literally anything to protect her companions.
But was she like using the party to her ends though? Is that why she protected them? Because she really just cared about this prince.
Yes, because when I created her code, because she was lawful evil, and that's a good thing to do when you make a lawful evil character.
Gotta have a code.
You write down your code and you give it to the DM.
Your do's and don'ts.
You say, if I stray from this code, I'm getting too evil. Or not evil enough.
Yeah.
Maybe you're going in the other direction.
It's a fine line, I guess.
Right. And, maybe you want to, but, if you don't, just like give it to your DM so that when they hear you say, I'm evil, I'm playing an evil character, they don't go like, what? No, you can't.
Yeah.
So that they know that you're not going to step outside of these boundaries. You're not going to slaughter innocent villagers.
Yeah. I mean, and that's awesome. Just establishing those boundaries in the first place is something I totally always recommend for a session 0 kind of discussion. So to have that in place for your character is great.
Yeah.
But I played a lawful evil orc barbarian. It was super fun to play. Almost like a paladin, because obviously he has this kind of like religious agenda to serve Zariel and provide souls for her infernal army, which is just her whole thing. Because basically she gave him like a cool magic sword. But also, I guess after I got that sword, the real thing was just I needed to kill somebody every like 9 days, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
So I guess what made that character good was, again, having the code. I guess really leaning into the role play in this case, because it wasn't so about like, ooh, I'm gonna do evil. It was just like, I have this one evil trait and I have to follow it literally religiously. Or, I mean, I don't even remember if there were consequences.
There were. You would get like penalties.
Okay.
And then eventually like you would get sucked into the sword.
Oh, I was the soul sucked into the sword all along.
You were the sword. But yeah, so there's lawful evil.
Yeah, lawful evil is definitely the easiest evil to be.
Yeah.
Because you have these boundaries set in place, agreed upon by your DM, and maybe even some of the other characters, or players, and at least their characters are going to have to kind of buy into this code if your character is going to stay in the party.
Yeah. And it's really easy to just maintain a goal that is the same basic trajectory as your party.
Yeah.
And you can just make evil real easy by just taking a good thing and just pushing it.
Yeah, just push it to the limits.
Push it to the
limits. Well,
not all the
limits.
way. Not all the way to the limit, because the limit is like chaotic evil,
okay.
And that's not fun. Well,
we're gonna
talk about chaotic evil later, because I have some ideas about how to make it work.
But I guess first, neutral evil.
Yeah, neutral. In our descent to evil.
Yeah,
neutral
to the
evil.
limits.
Yeah. So I've played one neutral evil character. I have the Squid. Great Old One Warlock. This patron who just like absorbed knowledge and synaptic energy. But her thing was that she needed to be with a bunch of people because she wasn't very strong. She needed a pack to help her kill so that she could then take this essence from dead people to funnel it to her patron.
It was like you could just go up to any dead
corpse,
guy.
Any sentient corpse.
Suck up
Just
their
slurp
little essence. Yeah,
Like,
you were just one of who
handbook-
knows how many things that are like feeding this entity.
The player's handbook says that like a great old one patron may or may not even know that you exist.
Yeah, which I feel like is so cool.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, great old ones. They're a great thing to do for neutral evil because they are totally neutral.
So yeah. Lawful evil is someone who does evil in the name of good.
Yeah.
So a neutral evil character, I think, is a character that doesn't necessarily do evil, but rather allows evil to happen because it usually benefits them.
I like that. Yeah, just kind of being like, oh, there's some evil going on over here.
Let me get in on that.
I like that.
That's
but
pretty cool.
But they're not making it happen.
Right. Or maybe they're subtly making it happen by manipulating others.
Yeah, by like controlling the circumstances.
Right. Like Squid would occasionally do by discouraging diplomacy.
Yeah, exactly. And so like you said, it's kind of like leading others to make sort of evil choices, or at least like gray area choices that then you can like twist into evil for your own purposes.
Yeah.
It's 2 out of 3.
Yep. The third one, chaotic evil.
Is it possible, Grace? Can you play a chaotic evil character without someone making a Reddit post about it?
Yeah. I've never done it.
Me neither.
But here's what I think. A chaotic good character is someone who might do something bad because they know it'll have a good outcome in the long run. Like they might sort of torture, nothing too crazy, a like big bad henchman of someone to get really important information.
Okay.
A chaotic neutral character is someone who does chaotic things because it's fun, or they can do it for profit, and like they value their freedom. That's what the player's handbook says. So I'm like, why, when we say chaotic evil, does the chaos have to be violent crime, like murder? Your chaos doesn't necessarily have to be labeled by your evil. Is killing that villager gonna help you meet a goal? Like, you might be chaotic, but you still have to have, like, reasons for doing things in order to play the game.
Yeah.
You know? Unless you're ready at that point to relinquish the character to the DM and say, this is now a villain, that's an NPC now, and I'm gonna play someone else because he's getting too evil, and the rest of the party is not going to want to play with them anymore.
This is a great way to do chaotic evil, and hopefully your party will agree with that. And if they don't, that's why you had that discussion. Then don't do it.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, be as evil as you want. Maybe not as evil as you want. As evil as the rest of your party is comfortable with.
Yeah, it's always just
to
about...
the bad guys.
Right. Making sure everybody's having fun.
Maybe occasionally an unimportant NPC if you're, like, by yourself and you want to sneak out and do a murder. If the rest of your party, if the rest of your fellow players don't care if you want to go do a murder.
Yeah. We've probably solved this problem forever, and now no one will ever have to worry about playing an evil character.
You'll go on RPG Horror Stories on Reddit, and there won't be a single post about the problem.
There's no post whatsoever.
No.
Because we've just cleared up
it.
D&D problems once and for all.
Yeah. No more evil. No more badly played evil characters.
Yeah. No more bad evil.
Yeah, only good evil. Like me.
Grace World Destroyer. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for watching and listening. Keep building.
You're welcome.
Cool.
Stop building.
No.